Hello, welcome back.
We are in beautiful Malibu.
Welcome to the Pacific Coast Highway, baby.
We had a lot of fun on the way. We have had quite a journey across half the United States, and our last leg was
Eventful.
just as exciting as the first.
Last week you saw us in Bryce Canyon, which was breathtaking. Check out the link here. We headed on southwest to Zion.
We've heard so many things about Zion, and of course, it's the park to beat all parks. Although I will say, even though I haven't experienced the full effect of Zion, I would say you have to really give Bryce a try. But Zion was amazing and breathtaking, even though we only saw a little bit of it.
Can you hear the green parrots trying to compete with us? As you're heading west, you hit Arches first as you're going through Moab, and then down to Bryce, and then Zion, and then Grand Canyon. So it's a lot to do in a short period of time.
It is a lot to do, and we knew we would have to cut something out, but that's okay, because now we have a rig, and we can go back anytime we want.
That's right.
We were kind of racing the clock to get back to Los Angeles. I do have a job. I have to work. I can't work remotely, as most people define it. So we had to cut something out. We did make it to Arches. We did make it to Bryce. We made it to Zion. We did not make it to Grand Canyon.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's coming.
When we hit Zion, it was super hot. And one of the big differences between Bryce and Zion, even though they're only like an hour and a half apart, if that, is Bryce, you come into the canyon up at the top, and the elevation's a big deal with temperature, right? So you come in up top and you go down, and it gets cooler as you go. So it was in the 80s for Bryce, Utah, and we get to Zion and you come in at the bottom, and it was in the hundreds. I mean, I think it was 101. I mean, it was hot.
It was pretty hot. And not to mention, we were having a little bit of an issue with our generator.
So if you're in a motorhome, you need the gen running to keep the air running, all of the air, not just the air up in front with the driver, but the ones in the back for everybody else. And me being the novice, didn't know that it's a big deal for ventilation on the generator to take the front panel off. That's a no-no. So if you're like me and you didn't know that,
Don't do that.
It helps to breathe the airflow has to go through to keep the motor cool a certain way. I'm not going to get too technical. I learned the hard way by having an RV technician teach me. So
in 110 degree weather.
So I took the panel off, and that made it work too hard, and then it was chugging, and it was struggling. Unfortunately for us, it was struggling in Zion, and we were
We kept on going down and up and down and up, and finally we were a little bit concerned as
the temperature's going up in the rig,
and many of the paths that we wanted to take were closed anyway.
Right, the river right there had some bacteria in it, so all that touring stuff was done out. The campsite was full.
It did just quench our thirst enough to want to go back.
That's right, yeah. So we didn't get to do everything we wanted, but the drive was incredible. It's breathtaking. It's a little nerve-wracking, isn't it?
It's a little bit tight, even in a 38-footer.
Yeah.
It drives me insane that there's just this drop there.
There's two ways into Zion, and one, you go through a tunnel. Well, the tunnel is 13 feet tall. Well, we're 12 feet 11. And so we were like, I hope our manual's right. And they just took my word for it. But you better know the height of your rig.
You better know.
Get out and measure.
Are you? Okay.
Don't trust your manual. Get out and measure with a tape measure. Because the air pressure in your tires, just make sure you know what you are. Anyway, the tunnel, they stopped traffic because it's only 13 feet at the middle of the tunnel. So on the edges, it's curved. They're like, you got to drive down the middle. They stopped traffic for a long time.
The kids were impressed.
They were like,
when we came out the other end, they're like, we made all of those cars wait. Yeah. So yes.
And then when you come out, it's a steep descent and it's the curve right there. So
amazing.
It's gorgeous.
I would say that the drive out west, I never knew that our country had so many varying terrains and beautiful scenic panoramic views. It was just beyond even Arches and Zion and Bryce. Just driving through Utah and the desert itself. I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's like
overstimulation.
Ooh, yeah. But so glad that we were able to do that together.
After we left Zion, it was super hot and the generator was still trying to recuperate. So we left kind of quickly. We got on Highway 15 heading west, and there was an accident that had the highway backed up. So I got off for gas to talk to the professional travelers at the truck stop, and the truck drivers were all talking to each other, and apparently the highway had already been closed for 8 hours. So we had to make a decision. Do we wait an indefinite amount of time? A lot of the truckers had made the decision to cut across the Mojave Desert. They were discussing this, and we were like, well, that sounds hot and not real fun, but I figured there's going to be a caravan.
How's the generator doing?
Yeah, there's going to be a caravan. So we just said a quick prayer. Lord, help that generator run, and it did all the way through. It was, what, a 30-mile trek south?
Okay, so get the fact is that we picked this rig up sight unseen, no orientation whatsoever. We've never had a motorhome, so we're just like, this
Pushing
is
the
gonna
limits.
work, right?
It was stressful. It was stressful because you could feel the heat, and now it's 115 degrees, and there's nothing. There are no buildings. There is no water. There's no
nothing
life.
For how many miles?
I think it was 30 miles. I'm pretty sure.
It was
and there's
maybe longer.
There's a sign when you get about 2 miles in that warns you that there's no cell reception and no nothing. There's no shoulder. So you're not turning around.
You're on your own, and it's it.
Anyway, but there were plenty of RVs and 18-wheelers, so we figured somebody's gonna have a radio.
Have you ever seen Rainbow? That's what it was.
Hey, calm down. What are you doing? Tranquilo. Stop moving. Ow!
What was that for?
You're a stranger. Strangers don't last long here.
About 20 miles in, we see a state trooper fly by, and there was someone, unfortunately, with a travel trailer had flipped it. And so that raised the tension level because it's already windy and the generator's not working right and it's hot. We finally see the next interstate, and then boom, the generator turns off.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But it made it through the desert.
Oh, that was funny.
It was eventful. It makes for a good story, so we're telling it to you.
We made it. We're here.
After we got on the highway, we were definitely ready for a rest. And we grabbed the first rest stop we could, and it's still in God's country. There's canyons, and it's incredibly beautiful. It was just nice to get out and unwind and stretch your legs for a minute, even though it's still warm.
That's amazing.
This looks so tiny from the airplane.
I don't even see this in the airplane. I have my eyes closed in the airplane. I was so excited. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
About BLM. I was so excited about finding a place with the red rocks and the nature, and I had firewood and the stars. We wanted to see the stars, but with the generator issue and the high heat,
Right.
we couldn't do it. So we stayed at a casino.
That's right. It was Nevada, so we were like, all right.
Here we go.
We called around, and they were telling us, oh, if you want a great pool, you got to stay at this casino resort. And
This is what you do with kids. Do you have a pool? What do you have for kids? Do you have any vacancy? So the casino was it, baby. It's a little bit warm here. Our generator isn't working. So we thought we were gonna spend a couple of nights, doing the BLM thing and like roughing it out, doing the campfire. I know it's not really roughing it out, but the campfire under the stars and like absolutely, unplugged. But not in 110-degree weather I'll just shut off. I don't know how I'm supposed to make dinner this week.
We'll do it on the grill or something. Yeah. They've got to have campfires.
There were about 80 spots, and there were 3 people. It was 114 degrees, but the pool was epic.
The pool was great. They closed at 7, but you parked. It was plenty of room, full hookups, super cheap, and the kids had a blast. So what more could you ask?
A realistic expectation for coaches on air conditioning is about 20 degrees. It took till 9 o'clock at night before it got even close to being able to be comfortable in the coach.
We all went to the pool. It was
right.
good.
It was a no-brainer. Then we stopped at Camping World on the way and decided it was time for a Blackstone grill. Because, again, we're rookies and hadn't figured out how a convection oven works.
We didn't know. I had all these pans. And again, I think that when you're in this lifestyle of RVing, you never stop going through, simplifying. I had kept, 3 pots that I loved and loved to cook in. None of them worked on my little stove because they're induction cooktops.
And isn't the trick, the hack, if a magnet sticks to the pan, then it's good? Right?
I think so.
Right, okay.
Stainless steel, fine.
So we got rid of all of our pots, got a new one, but in the meantime, we were like, how are we going to cook? Time for a Blackstone.
Time for a Blackstone,
on to
baby.
Camping World and whatever else we picked up. And
Almost all of you probably have one. And it's great.
yeah, we love the Blackstone.
So I want to know what your favorite park is. It is so fun to read comments about the outings that people have had.
Yeah.
I love knowing that we're not alone in our love for the parks, and especially for Bryce. But I want to know what your favorite park is and tips so we know what to do and how to go see them when we get to go back.
One we're really looking forward to is Glacier because we've heard so many people talk about it. But what's your favorite camping or family vacation experience? We'd love
Have you been
to hear.
to Joshua Tree? What's your favorite place in Zion? What's your favorite hike in Zion? Anyway.
Now that we've arrived in Malibu, we have lots of things to look forward to in this part of the country. But we want to hear from you.
That was our week, our exciting travel. It's our experience with the heat, with the desert, and learning our rig on the fly.
Well, so far we love California. The views are impossible to beat. So we're just grateful to be here. Grateful for your job, the opportunities to see things that otherwise we would never.
We just wouldn't take the time to do it.
Yeah.
And we definitely wouldn't take the time to take 2 or 3 weeks to drive out west. Many of you have done it. I'm so glad we did. And I can't wait to go back and hit those places that we found that we love.
More to come in the future. Many adventures here from Southern California. We're now in Malibu, so it's a whole new scene here.
It's a whole new vibe.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you come back next week. Bye.
You get married, you have, you get a baby or maybe not, maybe just 1, 2, 5 like us. And it takes you 9 or 3 months to get the baby out. Because it's just like sleeping. You really need to sleep for 12 hours a night and wake up for 24 hours. It's just like that. It's just like that. Stop video recording.